Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Hey, Lauren, how's it going?
It's pretty good, pretty good. We're going to change some stuff up tonight. I'm excited. And try some beer food pairings, but not in the beer food pairing that we normally talk about.
Right.
Like, I'm going to eat this beer, drink this beer with this smoked meat. We're going to drink beers that are supposed to taste like a food.
Yes, which is something that we've sort of touched on before because we definitely have had beers that like tasted like Oreo cookies.
Candies
which we actually
or
did
things. Yeah.
recently.
True,
I almost grabbed that bottle.
Oh,
We're not going
yeah.
to do that tonight, but I almost grabbed that bottle.
Yeah, that would have
Yes.
been another edition. But that's one we've had recently. These are all beers that I actually have not had. So,
Yeah, me neither. I don't think that I've had anything that we're
yeah,
trying.
Cool.
So that should be good.
I'm excited. So that's where we're starting. So we're going to drink 3 beers from 3 different breweries. And we're going to start with one from Revolution, a collaboration with Garrett Popcorn. That is a crisp caramel popcorn ale.
Sounds question marky,
Yeah.
but I'm open-minded. I'm
And
not
we're-
a big caramel corn fan.
I never was, and I feel like it's grown on me in
Okay.
recent years.
Well, maybe I'll feel that way.
So we'll see. And we're also going to eat some Garrett's caramel popcorn with
That is pretty
our
sweet.
beer.
Yeah. So I will say I have a small story about caramel corn. When I was pregnant, oh my gosh, it's kid related even. When I was pregnant, I went to one of those pumpkin patches and bought my husband a bag of caramel corn because it's his jam.
Oh,
And he
is
wasn't
it?
with us for
Okay.
the visit. It was like randomly, and I bought him this bag of caramel corn and I brought it home and I put it in the pantry and I realized that I had an aversion to the smell while
when
pregnant.
you were pregnant. Oh.
Yes. And I opened the pantry door after having put it in there for some time, and the wave of smell washed over me, and I had to immediately run to the bathroom to be sick. So after that, I had to make my husband keep the bag of caramel corn in his car and snack on it while at work
So that it wouldn't make you sick.
because it was too much for me to handle. Now, I will say I was always pretty sick while I was pregnant, so this isn't like completely unheard of or a really random thing.
Sure.
It's just
One of the things that made you
Yeah.
ill. That's super interesting. I feel like I often don't even notice the smell of caramel corn until I get like close to it.
Yeah.
But
Well, and we're sitting here with a bowl of it. I
Yeah.
don't really smell it right now.
yeah.
I don't know if it was just like because it was like warm
Sure,
when I
sure.
picked it up, and so it
Yeah.
kind of like baked in the bag a little,
Yeah,
and then
a
was
little.
in my little pantry. My pantry's really small.
Right. And if the door's closed, the scent's going to stay in
It's just
until you
kinda-
open it and it
yeah.
tries to escape. But
And it just, like I said, it just washed over me, and I was just like, nope, this isn't gonna work.
all right. Well, luckily you're not pregnant. So
Yes, thank God.
for so many reasons,
Yeah.
thank God.
Let's
But all right. Well,
celebrate that, shall we?
Give it caramel crisp popcorn ale a shot.
Yeah, let's have a drink of it, and then we'll eat a bite
It
of this
smells
popcorn.
kind of like an amber ale almost.
Yeah, it doesn't really smell like caramel corn. It just smells like an amber ale.
It doesn't smell like caramel corn. It also doesn't taste like caramel corn. It tastes a little popcorny. The
Yeah,
aftertaste
maybe.
is popcorny to me.
My brain is like, is this what caramel corn tastes like? Because this is okay.
It's not. I'm going to try a bite.
Yeah, let's eat a bite of caramel corn.
It's not at all what that tastes like.
Oh, I guess I sort of like caramel corn, though. I don't
See?
know if I've ever had caramel corn.
It's not so bad, right?
No, really, it's not.
Yeah.
I am somebody who's very close-minded about the sweet savory mixture.
Oh, I don't like them together.
Yeah, but I, in my head, because I have a really hard time mentally getting over things,
Fair. Yeah.
emotionally and physically and in every way.
all the things.
Yeah. So in my head, I was like, there's no way I'll like that because it's popcorn, which is salty,
Right.
but it's got caramel on it,
Which is sweet.
which is sweet.
Yeah.
But I like this. That's alarming.
See?
So I did get
told you.
something.
Okay.
So far, we've gained.
That's good.
Progress
That's a
has been
positive.
made.
I also didn't used to like caramel corn, and then in the last few years, I feel like it's grown on me.
Okay.
But I still can't eat the Garrett's Chicago mix together. I cannot eat a piece of cheese popcorn and a piece of caramel corn at the same time.
Like in your mouth at the same time?
I can't do
Okay.
it. Like,
No,
I
could
can't.
never do that.
That mix, and lots of people just grab it by the handful, and it's a specialty. And like,
But
that's
you're
what the-
like picking out specific
literally,
ones.
yes, I will eat all of one, and then I will eat all of the other.
Yeah.
But I can't eat them together. But back to this, I think that this beer with the caramel corn is a really good combination. But I don't think that the beer is sweet like caramel corn.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you didn't tell me if I would be like, this beer tastes like caramel corn. I don't think that I could
I
make that
don't
jump.
think I would have guessed. I would have guessed it was an ale of some sort, and I definitely don't think I would have guessed. I mean, it has a hint of like a molassesy caramel, but not in the way that I would expect it to be sweet. So when I saw caramel crisp,
Right.
when I think of like a caramely pastry, like, type of cookie or whatever, I kind of thought of that more so and thought
Sure.
it would be a sweeter
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
And it's
I get that.
not
yeah.
sweet. It's not, it's just, it's more mellow, and I definitely don't get that sugary taste
Right.
to it, which is, I guess, what I expected, because I'm like, oh, caramel corn, I know what that tastes like, Mm-hmm. It's not a bad beer. I actually like the combination of the two together.
I
But,
do too.
yeah.
And I like the beer more than I thought I did because
Same.
even in the general sense, I'm not always a huge fan of caramel flavoring in some beers.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes a stout can be balanced out nicely with sweet flavors, and caramel is one of those.
Yeah.
But in this case, I was sort of like, I don't know where I'm going to land on this.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that it's not a stout, though, because they could
yeah.
have easily done a stout caramel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I feel like this is a lighter, nicer kind of beer that I could actually drink more of. And it's a good mix. I think it's just not as sweet as I expected, knowing what caramel corn
Yes.
tastes like.
Absolutely.
So that's
Yes.
my only... It's not a negative to the taste. It's just didn't match with my expectation.
Right. Absolutely. That's exactly what I would say.
I think I actually
feel
like the
same
beer
way.
more that it's not super sweet, frankly.
Definitely.
So-
I think I do too. And I know that we do like our sweet beers, but
Sure.
this is very good.
It's
This
actually
is
a really
very
good beer. I actually
drinkable
really like this.
and enjoyable. Yeah.
And I think I like it more than I expected it to, because it's not as sweet as I expected. So I don't think it tastes exactly like caramel corn, but I think it's a nice pairing with said caramel corn.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm gonna put this.
I think that's reasonable. So we have more beers today to try than we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we should do is let's talk a little bit about our topic some here. And then
Yeah.
halfway through, maybe we'll try another beer. I don't want to stack the beers on top
No,
of
no,
each
no,
other
no.
too
We
much.
should spread them out a little bit.
Because
Yeah.
the flavors that we're going to try are going to be pretty
They're
diverse.
all
Yeah.
over the place. We're
Yeah.
we're all with snacks. We got snacky
We've
food.
got snacks. This is one of those times where our episode gets to feed us a little bit. Sometimes we come hungry, and now we get to kind of balance out that hunger with a little bit of snacks.
Like it. Exactly. Okay.
So on that
Snack
line,
food
yeah,
type
speaking of snack
theme.
foods, we decided we wanted to talk about the foods that we're the best at, or that we like making the most, or whatever whatever you came up with. That was sort of the route I went. I went with stuff that I feel like I make really well, or that I enjoy making. Sometimes I'm not the best at making it, but I enjoy making it.
That's
and
fair.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Some of these are definitely learning curve items that I could definitely, make some progress on and hopefully improve. But most of them are things that I feel really good about, that they're things I would feed to somebody, a
Fair.
guest, if you will.
That's good. I have some ideas too. I also have a couple of things that I want to get to learn how to cook too.
Oh, I like that.
we can
That's
end
interesting.
with some of
yeah,
those
I have
ideas,
some
but-
I have some thoughts on that, because that was actually something I decided to do early in the bad place. Was when we were kind of trapped at home. I started to look up really difficult recipes
Ooh,
and
okay.
challenge myself
I
to
like it. I like
make
it.
them. And none of them have I made a second time. But all of them were things I would pretty much be interested in trying again. And I'll list those when we
Okay.
get to that
All
point,
right, I
because
like
I
it.
have some good ones on that
Sounds
list.
fantastic.
So I start out with something that's it's kind of a mainstay for most people, but I like to put a little twist on it. I make these buffalo chicken tacos. And the thing that separates them from like classic buffalo chicken dip, which I enjoyed yours the other day, and it was wonderful.
I was just thinking I could make that into a taco. I have
You
some
could
left over.
make it into a taco, and here is how I do it.
All right.
So I won't give you guys the recipe for every little thing that
Sure,
I make,
sure, sure.
but because this is something someone might actually want to make, and I'm happy to share my recipe, you basically take taco shells and you cut them with like a biscuit cutter so they're little, and then you dip them in like your hot sauce, just like the hot sauce part of the and butter, a little bit of butter, and then you put them up on an upside down muffin tray so they make like the shell
Little
shape.
cup, yeah.
And then like you cook those in the oven till they're a little crispy. And then you basically just add your buffalo chicken dip recipe into the shell, put a little mozzarella on top, and brown it in the oven.
They're like little buffalo chicken cups.
Yes, you could do a cup too. That's really good. I have learned that my biggest flaw when I make them is that I overfill them.
Yeah, it's really easy to do with those.
Well,
type of
because my
things.
eyes are bigger than my stomach,
Yeah.
even while I'm cooking.
Fair.
So, like, I'm like, oh, a couple
How much
spoonfuls
can I
is
put in
perfect,
here?
and it's like filled to the top. Of course, you also don't have to cook the dip before you put it in, so it kind of just bakes in the time it's in the oven,
Okay.
which is kind of nice. But it does mean that all of your ingredients have to be mixable.
Yes,
And
yes,
sometimes
yes.
if you use cream cheese, which a lot of people do, you got to get that stuff down to mixable ability, which is something I struggle with because I never have the patience or the planning
Just let stuff out to
throw
soften.
that out on the counter for a little while
Yeah.
before I actually use it.
That's fair. This sounds intriguing. I do love me some buffalo chicken of really any sort.
Yeah, I've made it a couple different ways just sort of for fun. I used to make dip all the time. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll try something else, but use the same kind of formula. And I made buffalo chicken wontons one time, which is just like wonton
yeah.
wrappers. Same idea where it was like a little cup.
I
that you
love
ate it
things
out
that
of.
you can use in multiple different like mediums. So
Yeah.
like, you know, I've made like spinach artichoke dip, which you can do as a dip, or you can do in little phyllo cups, or
yeah,
you can
yeah.
do you can even mix that with like chicken and like put over pasta
sure,
and like
yeah.
make a vegetable type dish. But I like things like that you can be like, I've got a little leftover, what can I do with this? What
Yeah,
can I
my
do with
husband
that?
likes to take leftover buffalo chicken dip and make like wraps out of it. So I'm not a big like lettuce wrap person, but he'll do something like that sometimes, or just put it in a tortilla
Yeah,
and just eat it basically like a taco,
which is effectively the
which
same.
is, yeah.
You could put anything in like a tortilla and call it whatever you want.
Right.
But like almost
right.
anything
I
can
use
go
the
in a
word
tortilla.
taco as
Yeah.
a visual aid to what I am
You can make
describing,
anything
but
into
yes.
a wrap. Like
Exactly.
practically anything, which we do often. And
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
things in this
It
house.
makes for a really easy dinner. Not a healthy dinner, but a very
Yeah,
easy dinner
yeah.
if you have leftover
I like it. I like
chicken
it.
dip. So
Yeah. We do a lot of we're bad. We make the kids meals a lot, and then like don't want what we're cooking for them, and then we'll make ourselves something else later.
I do that. I did that yesterday, actually. I made my kids a frozen pizza, and I made some soup for myself, like a creamy chicken rice soup. And it was really simple, and I didn't have a lot of like veggies to put in it, so it was pretty. Sure. But it tasted really good because I put a bunch of seasoning in it. Nice. But they never would have eaten it. It wasn't their jam. But they were very happy to have the frozen pizza.
Our kids, they'll always eat
they
that.
chowed on that.
Totally cool. All right. Okay.
So what else? What about you? Give me a recipe.
I make, so my husband does most of the like main course cooking in our house. Just does. So I do like the appetizers, the dips, the accompaniments of everything, or the baked goods,
the side dishes.
So I do the other things, and he does like the main course usually. But one of my favorite things is this buffalo shrimp recipe, which is not buffalo at all. I'm sorry, barbecue shrimp, which is not barbecue at all. But it was a recipe from the Frugal Gourmet, and it has like 17 different spices that you put into this thing. And it's what you would call, it's like a New Orleans style shrimp.
Oh, okay.
So it's chopped bacon and like 6 pounds of butter. I'm exaggerating, but it's like a crap load of butter and bacon and spices and shrimp, and you like put it all together, and then you get baguettes so you can dip in all the sauce and like eat it as either your meal if you want. I mean, and we've done that. It's not like you can't.
Yes, I have made almost anything a meal that I desire to eat.
Right? So I can make an appetizer a meal any day of the week. So, but that is something, and I'd have to look up all the like 17 different spices. It's a ridiculous amount of spices that goes into this. But it's from like a 1970s Frugal Gourmet recipe.
Wow.
Like it's ridiculously old.
Crazy where you can find things.
And it is fantastic. And everybody that we've fed it to or given it to has like nobody's ever not like loved it.
Yeah.
So that is one of our.
I didn't used to eat shrimp at all, but I actually really like shrimp. I used to not, but now I've had it just enough times that I'm kind of like, nah, shrimp's good. I like shrimp. I get it at Hibachi.
Ooh, yes.
Which I enjoy, which is very simple shrimp. I mean, they just grill it.
But
put some
still,
teriyaki on it.
I always get shrimp at Hibachi. That I asked my husband the same question, like, what are some of the things that he really enjoys making? And we have forced him into it, but he is very good at making hibachi on our Blackstone.
Oh,
so when we go camping,
cool.
or even just in our garage, like for New Year's, I think he made hibachi.
Awesome.
And like he does a really good job at hibachi.
I might need an invite to the next hibachi home.
Yeah. For sure. Because a couple of the kids were like, this is even better than the restaurant. And I was like, honestly, it's pretty good. Like, he does a really good job. So
that's awesome.
Hibachi is one of his things.
His recipes.
And we kind of forced him to do it. But now he's like, no, I actually kind of liking it. I want to get him a hat. I want to get him one of those little...
Does he do any tricks?
I know. That's what he said he needs to practice.
Yeah.
So,
if he can break an egg over the side of the spatula, I would be really happy with it. There might be a tip involved.
I like it. So, yeah. But that's something that he is good at and we all enjoy, that's awesome. Which is a plus.
That's the key, right? Yes. Trying to find something you can get everybody to eat. Man, I didn't even think about that when I made this
That's
list.
part of why like some of the things that we make regularly is like everyone will eat this.
That's good. That's good. My husband, I think, has better luck with that than I do, and I think it's because he makes simpler meals than I do.
Yeah.
Because he'll make tacos and he'll make like a grilled chicken and he'll make hamburgers, and everybody loves
stuff that the kids will just easily eat.
They are very good.
Sure.
I'm not saying they aren't. They are very good.
But if you're trying to go above and beyond with your flavor profiles, the children are less likely to.
Yeah,
agreed.
And you run into a situation where the kids are not going to eat it, and I run into that situation way more often than he does, especially because some years ago I decided that I was cooking for me.
Yeah, which is
and
fair.
not somebody
not everybody else.
Because they're either going to eat it or they're not going to eat it. Doesn't matter, and I'm just going to make what sounds good to me.
That's fair.
And I do that most of the time.
We're getting better at making things for everybody. Like my husband made pot roast a couple of times, and I was like, just make it. and we're gonna try and see if they eat it.
Right.
And the kids all ate the meat. They didn't like the vegetables in the broth, which I totally get because I don't actually either. Like I don't like when the potatoes are mushy. I can't do it.
I grew up in a home where my mother was like, "This meal is bad if the vegetables didn't just like fall through your fork when you picked them up."
And I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I just can't do that. So I was like, you know what? Next time, since the vegetables are all they didn't eat, they ate the meat fine. Like I will just roast some potatoes in the oven, and then everything is fine.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, this didn't work out," and I'm like, "No, this was fine. Like we can make minor adjustments, but we can do this, and then that means that we don't have to eat separate meals or." Eat like tacos every day because my children will eat tacos every day if given the chance.
So will mine.
But also we've branched out. Like they really like they like pork tenderloins, which was just fine with me. I'm good with that. But anyways, what's the next thing that you like to make?
To stay on the like appetizer kind of loop. I also really like making I make a phyllo wrapped baked brie.
Yeah, you were supposed to make that.
I know. I'm sorry. It didn't happen this weekend.
That's all right.
There was so much food out.
I know there was an excessive amount of food.
And I was like, I don't want to bake this and no one eats it because there's too much to eat. Because it's something that's wonderful.
Next time, next girls' night,
I'll make it.
You're in charge of
the
brie.
I will. In fact, and the funny thing is that I actually watched a video on a recipe where someone made it just like a little bit differently, and I really liked their method. So I have kind of a new method to try that I think makes it even better. So I'm excited about that. But it's pretty straightforward. I don't need to give you the recipe for baked brie. You mentioned pork tenderloin. I make a mean pork tenderloin. This is where my sous vide skills kind of come into play because I'll sous vide a pork tenderloin. And, you know, they come in like a 2-pack. And we will normally just eat one, the four of us, when I'm with my family. But the beauty of sous vide is that I can sous vide both of them and save one and heat one even in a few days because it's cooked. It's like leftovers.
Right.
So, like, then in a few days we can pull it out of the fridge and we can put it in the oven and sear it really good. And eat it even in a completely different style in a completely different way, and everybody is ready to have pork tenderloin again. I like making chimichurri sauce with it.
Well, I love chimichurri sauce. Yeah,
I could eat chimichurri sauce on almost anything. I'll make rice when I make the pork loin and
mix
put
that in.
Rice on, you know, put it on.
You can
rice.
eat chimichurri on almost any savory dish that you make. I'm
Absolutely.
convinced.
I mean, I've eaten it with chicken and pork and steak
any meat. Like you literally could mix that in with any meat. Yeah.
Leg of lamb is another sous vide thing I've kind of mastered more recently.
Okay, you need to talk to my husband about that because lamb is like my favorite, and he usually just grills it. But now that he has a sous vide,
that is
he's
the perfect.
Discuss.
I will mention it to him.
Fantastic.
Perhaps on the break, but at some point
Yes.
I will talk to him about sous vide leg of lamb. I made it for Christmas this year.
Okay.
It was perfection.
Fantastic.
It turned out wonderfully. I found a really good recipe that I will also share with him because it's not my recipe, but it is great.
I love it.
And Costco sells a really good, actually boneless.
That's where we always that's not where we often get lamb from Costco.
Yeah, Costco has pretty good lamb.
Yeah.
But I've been buying it there and been really happy with how it's turned out.
I like it.
And I think the great thing about sous vide is that when you get a boneless piece of meat, you sometimes run the risk that you're gonna dry it out, you know?
Okay.
And I haven't had that problem because I sous vide it and then I put it in the oven and kind of brown it all really nice with roasted vegetables usually. And I'll make a gravy too when I make it and kind of do all of that. Nice. My roasted potatoes, you mentioned my roasted potatoes, which I've made with the lamb. I've also gotten really good at making roasted potatoes. And they seem like such a simple thing. But if you do the right steps,
my husband makes a really good roasted potato. You know, we always have some rosemary and things in there, and they're very tasty. So
I got some compliments at Christmas for the roasted potatoes, which is funny because I was so proud of the lamb. But most of the kids
like the
were like, these really saved the day, and I was kind of like, I made this lamb, you guys.
This other thing cheap. That was more, No, that sounds good. Now I'm getting hungry.
I know.
Yeah,
I was worried about that. Fortunately, we have
fair.
snacks. Now's a good time to eat the next snack.
This is a good time to eat the next snack. All right, we're gonna drink
Or a beer.
903 Brewers. This is actually out of Texas.
Okay.
And we're going to drink Troop 903. It's a cream ale that, based on the description and the picture, I'm guessing is supposed to taste like Girl Scout cookie Samoas. Because it's coconut, chocolate, caramel, which the cookies are caramel, coconut, and chocolate. So I'm fairly confident that this is what it's, and it looks.
I think that you made a very reasonable logic jump there. So I think that's probably true.
Yes. So
let's pour this and then grab my cookie.
Yes. So, yeah, I was. Oh,
Does it smell good?
it smells like coconut.
Oh man.
I know you don't love it, but I figured it was worth a shot.
Yeah, no, that doesn't mean I won't drink it.
Yeah.
What did we do last time? Did we drink first?
Drink first.
We did.
Taste
Okay, let's
next.
do that.
So, we're gonna give this a shot. It smells like coconut.
Yeah.
It tastes like coconut and
I haven't had a
caramel.
Samoa
Dude, this tastes
in
like it's got
forever,
like it tastes
But it tastes like a cookie. This is gonna.
It totally tastes like a Samoa. The only thing that is lacking, I feel like, is it doesn't have a lot of chocolate flavor to it compared to the cookie.
It tastes exactly like this cookie.
Totally tastes like it.
Pretty much.
This is the closest you're gonna get probably in a beer, but this tastes
I'm really impressed.
just like this, like very close.
I'm gonna be honest. I know we haven't had the third beer yet. I did not expect this to be my front runner with comparison.
Right?
I'm not sure if the third beer can do this.
I know.
We'll see.
This tastes just like this cookie. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, putting them together enhances the flavors. I feel like
the cookie, especially
right?
since because we took the drink first, and then I feel like the cookie is like knocking my socks off with how flavorful it is.
I totally agree. This is they did really well on this.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It is really impressive.
This is exactly like what they intended.
Yeah.
All the way.
Good job.
Yeah, 903.
Good job, 903.
You know what? I've never had this brewery either. You know what we should do? We should look. They've got some other beers. I'm going to add this to our list of breweries to highlight.
Yeah, totally.
Because this is, regardless of whether you like the cookie or not, this is exactly like the cookie. It's exactly like they intended it to be.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk a little bit more about food.
Yeah.
After that delightful cookie. So I have started, this is sort of on the borderline of whether or not I'm any good at it. I've started making my own bread occasionally. I do it very rarely because the time commitment is extreme.
Oh, it's time. Yeah, I saw the ciabatta bread that you posted the recipe of. I'm going to give it a try because it sounded really good and I really like the bread.
It's a very complicated recipe.
I saw.
But I will say, the only thing that's, just to kind of give a little insight to this recipe, the only thing that I found is really complicated is that after you get to the point where you have your starter dough and you mix them and you have the dough and it's going to rise for a little, like, brief periods of time while you flip it over.
Yep.
It's making sure that your timing works out because, like, every 45 minutes for, like, 3 hours, you have to flip this dough over.
Yeah. So if
And
you
if
get
you-
interrupted.
If you miss that, if you're more than a few minutes late, it'll rise too much. And I got the one time I made it, I got really, really holy bread. Really airy, dry, kind of Tuscan bread rather than what I was hoping for.
Okay.
And I was kind of disappointed. I turned it into garlic bread and it turned out fine.
Which, yeah, you can
Yeah,
make
but
most
come
breads
on,
into garlic
you can
bread,
make
but that wasn't the
anything.
point.
Yeah.
You can make hot dog buns into garlic bread. Like, I've made lots of things into garlic bread.
You certainly
so
can.
It's a way to save the bread.
Exactly. But I think I've made it 3 times now. I feel like my first time was actually pretty good. My second attempt was the one where I messed up my time.
Yeah.
And my third attempt was really good.
Okay.
But it was also the one where I kind of babysat it the most because what I learned was from start to finish, it's almost exactly 24 hours. And so if you start making it at a time where you know the next day you're going to be around,
Yeah.
you're probably going to work it out because you have this 15 to 20 hour period where it's just sitting.
Right. It's doing nothing.
So if you started at 2:00 on Saturday, then Sunday morning
around,
you start your little flip over process and and doing all of that and getting the oven ready. The oven needs to preheat for like an hour before you start it and everything. you kind of run into a situation where then it's ready
Gotcha.
middle of the day.
Solid advice. I will
Yes.
take that advice.
So
I've made a handful of breads, but I prefer the easy breads, which are just like mix, maybe let rise for a little bit and then put in the oven.
Yeah.
So
I've also read that you can use an Instant Pot to proof dough, and it speeds up that time. I've never done that.
dude, I only use my Instant Pot as a rice cooker. Like, I'm really bad about it. I
Yeah.
just don't use it for much, but
I use
yeah.
it for soup sometimes.
Oh,
I like it
okay.
for soup because
That's
when
fair.
it comes, and I make stock with it.
well, yeah. that
Stock
makes
is
sense.
awesome
Yeah.
to make in the Instant Pot. But I do make soup in there. I made soup in there actually yesterday, and I like doing that because it just expedites the process.
Well, that's the benefit of
This,
the
yeah, I mean, in
Instant
general,
Pot.
that's why
Like,
everybody
yeah.
uses it for everything.
Right.
But in
It
this
makes
case,
it
it
faster.
doesn't like wreck everything in the process
Yes.
either. Because like, I feel like if you cook meat in the
Mm.
Instant Pot, you have no control over its level of doneness
At
and
all.
Therefore,
You're just guessing once you
hoping-
open it up and be like, all right, what's this look like? Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't do meat in it
I
at
don't
all. We've used ours as an air fryer for chicken wings, but that's it.
There you go. I've done
so
that
that's
too,
the
but
extent
yes.
of it. But anyways, bread.
But
I
yes.
probably need to make an Irish soda bread for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, sure.
I have a really solid recipe for Irish soda bread.
Oh, I would love to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
not something I have made
It's
before.
it's from my godmother's mother, who is from Castle Gregory, Ireland.
Oh.
And it's their
Okay.
family recipe.
Okay.
So I have it handwritten, and it's actually very good. So
Cool.
I will share. But
I would love
yes.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So for me, when it comes to food, my last thing that I really work on and that I enjoy making is some Italian dishes. I make a vodka sauce that I'm really happy with. My kids like vodka sauce because it's smooth and simple.
Yep.
Although they call it orange sauce
Which-
because
it's orange.
It's
It
orange.
is. That's a fair description.
so initially I thought that was a negative review,
Oh.
but really it didn't impact their opinion of it
It's
too
literally
much.
just a
They
descriptor.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just visually describing
orange.
it as
Which is
orange.
not false. Yeah.
Right, correct. I've started making risotto, which is like the difficult bread of the
Of the Italian
pasta
food
world.
yes.
It
yes.
is
Yeah.
45 straight minutes of stirring.
Yeah, I've never made risotto. I feel like it. I don't know. I need a mechanical stirring
yeah,
mechanism.
one of those little octopus
Yes,
dudes with a
yes,
battery in it.
yes,
yeah,
I need that.
will say that I've made risotto a couple of times, and the risotto has been just all right. But I've made arancini with the risotto.
So you've used the risotto for other things.
Yes. So
Arancini is good.
if you don't know, and Lauren seems to know, but if you don't know, arancini is like these little deep fried rice balls that usually have cheese in them in addition to risotto, and then you bread them and you drop them
It's
in
like
oil.
deep fried balls of risotto. Is essentially what it
yes.
is. Like,
I fell in love with them on our trip to Napa. I
Oh,
ordered them at one of the restaurants we went to. It was actually just an appetizer, but it sounded so good. It had like a spicy pesto sauce with it.
yum.
It sounded so good. I was like, this is what I want to eat.
yeah.
I'll just get a salad or something that I'm
Again,
getting this.
I am totally good
It
with
was
appetizers for
so
meals.
good. Yeah. And it was plenty, honestly.
Yeah.
And it was so good that I was like, I have to learn how to make this myself. I've done it twice. I'm really happy with how the arancini, even my kids tried it.
Ooh.
So I can't
Our
complain
kids
about that.
love rice. I wonder if they would eat that. I've never
Probably.
even thought about it, but they all eat, like, even the rice like that has some things in it, or
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
mixed with some sort of flavoring. So I bet you that might not be a bad idea.
Well,
All right.
and I will say, if you're feeling a little lazy, my cousin that owns the deli
Yeah.
in Palos Hills,
Yeah.
he has arancini.
Oh,
so
so I
you
can
can
give
just
them a shot.
buy it there.
Since that's where we buy all our cheese anyway.
There you go.
So,
So, and they have guanciale, by the way, if you ever.
know, yeah. We're gonna have to make another trip there soon. I just refilled our cheese stash.
Yeah,
so
right. My brother and
not
I
too
have
long
started
ago.
going there for lunches on occasion because they have like sandwiches.
Good deli
that you-
sandwiches, yeah,
And
yeah.
they're amazing. They make them on like garlic bread. They're crazy.
That
I just
is
like,
one thing that I actually really like to make, and everyone eats, is my garlic.
Yes, you are the inspiration for me liking to make garlic bread because I had yours last time we got together in Michigan with the kids, and I was like, I have to make this, and you
Yeah.
gave me your recipe, and of course, like any good chef,
Yeah, you
I made a
adjust.
couple
Yeah.
tweaks. I put some of my
Totally.
Joe Frangella in there because my father's
Yep.
garlic bread recipe is very different, but added
Sure.
those
Add a little
elements,
bit.
put a little paprika
Yeah.
in it to give it some color, but follow a very similar recipe.
Yeah.
and love
Right?
kids love the garlic bread.
We
I
all
love it.
love the garlic bread. So yeah, that's one thing that definitely. Other thing that I love to make before we try our, not love, but I enjoy making, and I think I'm getting better at it before we try our next very different beer is carrot cake. So I completely made up my own recipe for it.
Okay.
I took variety pieces of like 3 different recipes and was like, that sounds good. That sounds good. And I've made it a handful of times. And the last time I made it was very, very good.
That's awesome.
And it is truly like my own recipe.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Well, that's kind of what I did with the garlic bread.
Yeah.
Because I took your recipe and then I follow a chef online named Joshua Weissman. And he has really great videos.
Okay.
And he made a video for garlic bread 3 ways. That's what he called it.
Okay.
And the first one is like really basic, like, you know, like a Vienna bread that you just rub
Sure.
garlic on
Yep.
and some salt. You know, it's like the easy old
the
school
basic.
method.
Yep.
And then the middle one is very similar to yours. And then he makes what he calls a fancy garlic bread that he takes prosciutto and he fries it in a pan until it's crispy and then chops it up in little pieces and then sprinkles it on top.
Well, that
after
you
making
can't go
it.
wrong with adding that
It's
to literally
crazy.
anything.
I
So-
feel like because you can take the middle recipe, the one that's close to
Yeah.
yours, and put prosciutto on top, and I will be very happy with it.
Yeah.
But it was a very good.
that,
so
that sounds fantastic.
I've
All right.
adapted yours with his, with like I said, a little bit of what my
Joe's.
father
Yeah, I love it.
used to do, and turned my
That's
kind
the
of
way.
my own.
There's a lot of like even the buffalo chicken dip I made this weekend. I took a piece of my mom's, a piece of something else's,
Sure.
and then added a couple things that I was like, this would be really good in here.
And it was
that's
great.
how you
It was
like
great.
adapt as you like to cook things. That's how you figure out, your own spin on stuff,
Yeah.
which I am all for. So
Yeah.
all right, let's drink this last random beer. Patches Treat sour
This is
ale with
crazy.
sour gummy candy. So this definitely is supposed to taste like Sour Patch Kids, because I mean, what else? would it taste
I would like to point out that I was listening to our last episode and I noticed that we actually mentioned
Mm-hmm.
what a bad idea it would be to eat Sour Patch Kids while drinking beer,
Well,
unless
guess
it was
what?
like an IPA or something.
yeah, this is a sour. I mean, it's a Sour Patch Kids beer, is
Yeah.
what it is. So it's Prairie Artisan Ales. It's made or bottled in actually Oklahoma. I didn't know that Krebs Brewing bought Prairie Artisan Ales back in 2016 until I was like, who's Krebs Brewing?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So they make it in Oklahoma, but it's sold as a Prairie Artisan Ales beer. But we're going to drink some Sour Patch Kids beer and see how this goes.
Let's do it. Let's try the beer. I can't wait.
Yeah, it smells like Sour Patch Kids, though. Did you smell it? Like, it smells like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh my God.
That tastes like Sour Patch
How
Kids.
much of this did you buy?
A 4-pack.
Can I have a can of it?
Yes, totally. For sure.
I love it. I
This
love
is
Sour Patch Kids.
fantastic.
It's my favorite candy, by the way.
Is it?
Sour
Look
Patch
at this.
is my
was,
favorite
I didn't even
candy.
know. Look how perfect
No, when
this
you
is.
suggested it, I'm going to tell you this. I would have offered it, but it's not the same thing. At work, my brother is addicted to the watermelon.
I love those.
Do you
They're
really?
my favorite.
Oh my
Yes.
god. We have 5 pound bags
Oh my
of them.
god. Okay,
at
well, grab
work.
me a little
I
like,
will.
Ziploc baggie
Yes.
of them. Yes, I love
And I
that.
literally was like, I should just take one of these and then we'll eat that. But then I was like, but that's not
but it's
Sour
not
Patch.
the Sour Patch Kids.
But I will
yes.
definitely bring you
I
some.
will-
I will be happy to do
I
that.
will definitely. I will trade you beer for watermelon.
I was
going to
say, let's make that trade
I
happen.
love it.
Shall
I'm
we?
in for this.
Let's
this
try a Sour
tastes
Patch Kids.
exactly like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh my god, I love Sour Patch Kids so much.
This is so amazing that these last 2 beers though
Lauren.
taste exactly like what they're supposed to taste like.
How did the third beer even raise my expectations even higher and
Right?
still meet them?
This tastes like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh my
like,
gosh, it's
this
so good.
tastes, and like, yes, you're right. We were like, no, you can't eat Sour Patch Kids with beer. This you can.
can.
Like, this
Guess
is what you're
what?
supposed to.
We figured it out.
It's perfect.
You can do it.
Oh my gosh. The beer literally tastes like you would 100% be like, without telling you, this tastes like Sour Patch Kids.
Yes, everyone would say that. There is no mistaking this beer flavor.
No, it is dead on.
I love it.
And the combination of the sour candy and the sour beer is not too much sour, by the way. Like,
No.
it's like the perfect amount of combination.
I love it. That was awesome.
I love this.
I am going to drink the F out of this beer, you guys.
Love it.
Ugh.
This is such a good combination. All right, well, thank you for joining us for our beer and food pairing
That
episode.
was so much fun. That was really good. And what a nice spin on it for us to be able to drink beers that taste like different foods.
I love it. This was
That
great.
was awesome.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yep. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us, you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week and cheers to you all.